Welcome, everyone, to Living in Faith. I'm your host, Giovanna Tartarone.
And I am your co-host, Pablo Sanchez. Great to see you, Gigi.
Likewise, and this show is powered by World Energy Healers. Visit us at weqhsummit.com to join us at the summit on November 1st. So today we're going to be talking about how to have more compassion and judge less. This is a topic that's dear to my heart because it's very easy for us to, I believe, just go on the side of being misunderstood or having fear, and which leads to judgment. And when it leads to judgment, it feels very uncomfortable, right? Because we're scared. So how do we go from being less judgmental and having more compassionate? That's the topic for today. So let's talk about that.
Gigi, I believe the answer right here is really to try to be more like Christ every single day. Because when he was here with us, well, he was all about compassion. And and I think as the master, that's what he was trying to teach us over here. Because we're all guilty of prejudgment to just about in any situation without knowing what's going on. I, for one, learned a long time ago, long time ago, Gigi, that the only judge is God, it's not me. And I learned a long time ago that I'm not supposed to have those type of eyes. Yeah. And although I'm saying I learned that a long time ago, I can honestly tell you that those feelings do come back. The judgment does come in, but I'm able to sustain it. But it's very hard to do that. What you find is myself. Now I'm just going to talk about myself on how people pass judgment on me just because I'm Latino. So right. Because of that, we built up walls. We have barriers that we have to overcome. And in order to overcome those barriers to go over those walls, compassion is the way.
Compassion. I love that.
It's really compassion is the bridge that helps you make it over all of those judgmental things, whatever it is that we're facing, and whether it's personal, or it's at work. It really compassion is the bridge.
Yes. And you know what? Again, you just mentioned something that I believe, creates separation, right? When we bring up those walls, it literally separates our connection. So when we are judging, we're seeing that other person as different than us. And the truth of the matter, at the very core, we're not different. We are the same loving human being light that we are, right? But being judgmental creates you're this and I'm that. And truth be said, that this is where we get stressed in our life, because we are separate from each other. I truly believe that, and separate from God. Let's because if we can be more like God, that means we're not separate. We are God. We are acting and treating each other the same way that God would want us to treat Him and ourselves, right? So I love the way you said that we're putting up these walls, and these walls, we are the only ones that can take them down because we put them up. They were never there to begin with, right? And yeah.
And what happens with the part of being compassionate, it doesn't really mean that we're condoning whatever wrong is being done to us. We're not. We're actually doing what Christ tells us to do: give them the other cheek. Give them the other cheek. The only way to do that is to show them love.
Right.
She said, "Love is the answer."
Always.
Love is the
Always.
answer, and God is love. So if you go by from that perspective, God is love, and we're supposed to imitate God. Then people can be passing judgment to us. We're not condoning it, but we're gonna love them. We're gonna love them, and that's the bridge that we're gonna do. Our bridge is gonna be a bridge to love, to show them that what you can say. Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words can never hurt me.
That's
It's
right. That's right.
perfectly
And you're
fine.
building, faith and confidence, which is really the opposite of being judgmental, right? In that person and understanding. So it's the fear that I think drives us to judge. It's like they're better than I am, or, it's the competition. And, I invite the audience to think about more cooperation versus competition, right? Because competition leads to a misunderstanding that one is better than the other. And I go back to that. We all come from the same source. We all come from the same source, and that's
See,
God. So
see
the
when
universe,
when
whatever you
you
want to call it.
when we choose compassion over judgment, what we do is we create opportunities for healing, for
Yes,
restoration, and
yes,
reconciliation. And that's really what we want to do. That's become, I'm saying it is a bridge, compassion is a bridge to go beyond the judgment. And it's really,
and it
uh,
prevents us, right? It prevents us if when you're judging, doesn't it? I think it just prevents us from seeing opportunities, right? We because we're in that misunderstanding or having fear and we judge, then we cannot have faith and we cannot have opportunities because we're closing the doors. So being judgmental, like, I believe, leaves that, again, misunderstanding that prevents us from being our best self, prevents us from giving love, and we hold it back, right? So if you don't want to share love, then how are you going to get love? Because you're only going to get what you put out there, right? That's what we learned.
when you think about it, that when you're being judgmental in one way or another, you're like holding back, and you grudge and all of those things, and
Right.
it's all a misunderstanding right there. So by showing compassion, you're sending an olive branch. You say, "Hey, let's talk about this." You see, I really didn't mean what you thought, and that's why words are powerful. And we learn from the four agreements, Gigi, right? From the four agreements, right?
Absolutely.
Your words
Absolutely.
have power, right? Say exactly what you mean, and then definitely you have the right to, when people you hear something, do not take it personal. Do not take it personal, right?
Mhm.
I, for one, I was the. If I would have read the four agreements when I was younger, I would have said I would be a completely different person because I used to take everything personal, and it's not. It is not. I mean, I started off by saying because I'm a Latino, right? No, but the thing is that I was taking it personal, right? What it had to be is really the person right there was too judgmental, and and then it was for the person to look at themselves in the mirror and say, hey, hey, this another person just like me. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
But let's also just touch on a topic about, you're in the supermarket. It's very easy to look at somebody and go and make some kind of judgment. We don't know what's going on in that person's life for us to judge how they look, how they dress, what they're doing. And, you know, your your attitude towards them, they can feel it. They can feel your energy. So if you're judging someone and they look at you, they can feel whether you're, compassionate, caring, or making a judgment. And I truly say that you can change a person's life by just saying hello and not being judgmental. And if we
And
can view
and
it from that perspective, it changes everything.
I tell you, Gigi, sometimes that person at the supermarket or outside the supermarket was placed there for your purpose to see if you're going to pass the
Ah,
test. You have to
yes.
pass the test. And the test right here, the test that I have learned is
Yes.
that you have to treat everyone as if thought they were God. Would you treat
Yes.
God in that manner? Or would you treat him
Right.
with compassion? Would you do things differently if you had God right in front of you? How would you treat him? And that's the
Right.
way you're supposed to treat everyone else. He says, it's like
Yes.
we're all brothers right here, but this really means brothers because we are all of our heavenly Father. Because of our heavenly
Right.
Father, we are all brothers, and that's the way we're supposed to be treat each other like brothers. I mean,
And sisters.
brothers in the good sense, because some brothers do argue.
You know, and that reminds me. And I just read this the other day, and it's so true because I can see that it happened in my life. God disguises himself in so many different ways. And that's how, you get tested. I remember one time driving on the highway, and I guess I was going into Manhattan or something. And I did not have any. So there's a guy with a sign going near the cars, and I did not have a penny in my wallet because I would carry debit cards, so like cash is like very little. And I didn't know what to give him. And I'm looking in the car and I'm looking in the glove department. I'm like, I know I got to give him something. I end up throwing out a snack bar. Like we have those snack bars. I just threw out a snack bar to him, so at least he can have something to eat. Because in my heart and in my soul, I felt like God is testing you right now. Let's see what you can give. And I went through that episode, and after I threw the snack bar, I'm like, oh, that was just kind of crappy. But I'm like, no, I still gave. My intention was there, and that's the key. The key is, what's your intention when you see someone that may not, fit the style, the mode that you're used to, right? Are you judging? Because I truly believe you're absolutely right that we get tested.
And I
So
have
I love that.
in the past, I have shared with you two tests that I had to pass. Uh, Back in the 80s, I was a New York City taxi driver, and that's how I put myself through college. And then one time I was all the way uptown by 178th Street and Broadway, and I stopped for what who seemed to be a passenger. This passenger did not go into the back seat, but he came into the passenger seat. Now, immediately, uh, I could I could sense the guy was not clean. I mean, really bad. But then I also sensed that he was not drunk or anything like that, but he was like some medication or something. I didn't know. And then I says, "Can I help you? Where would you like to go?" And I, just from the looks, in this case being judgmental, just from the looks, I saw that he did not have money. So I was not on that mission. I was on a mission of helping someone out. So he gives me an address, and the address is to go all the way downtown. All the way downtown. And that trip in those days would have been like $30, $40. But then talking the 80s, that was a lot of money back then. So then I took the gentleman all the way downtown. I showed him to the address he gave me. This is it. And then, like I said, to me, that was a test I had to pass.
Right.
Pablo, what are you going to do with that? Next, I drop off the man right there at the corner. There's a guy waiting for a cab. Yes, where are you going? I'm going to Newark Airport. Newark Airport, that was a ride that was $150. So right there, that ride, and because it's all highway, is a fast ride, making 150 just like that. But then that wasn't the only thing. Then I'm not supposed to pick up a ride from Newark to New Jersey because I'm not licensed in New Jersey. But this guy, he's at the departure side. The guy hops into my car and he wants to go to New York. And he wants to go with me because I'm a New York City taxi driver. Automatically, right there, I made $400 in that round trip, just like that.
Yeah.
The $40 I would
Because
have
you
cost,
didn't judge. Right.
I did not judge. I passed the test. I passed the test.
Yes. Love it.
If I didn't do that, if I was judgmental and everything else, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
passed the test. I probably would have had a real bad day. So
Yes.
you have to pass the test and know that
Absolutely.
big compassion is really trying to imitate God right here. And always, whenever you're looking at anyone, say, how would I treat that person if that was God? Would I not give him a shirt off my back? If if he's asking for water, wouldn't I give him water? If he's asking for bread, wouldn't I give him bread? And that's how you show. That's how you imitate God.
Let's switch over to, it's so beautiful. Great story, Pablo. Let's switch over to in Spanish so we can share with our friends.
Buenas tardes, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. El tópico de hoy día es el poder de la compasión en vez de ser juzgar. En vez de juzgar, ¿cómo podemos dejar de ser juzgadores y enseñar compasión? Eso fue un tópico que me nace a mí porque como estoy en mis estudios bíblicos, lo que me dice es que nosotros estamos supuestos a imitar a Dios. Al tratar de imitar a Dios, lo que hacemos también estamos diciendo que ¿cómo usted trataría a una persona si usted supiera que esa persona es Dios? Si fuera esa persona Dios, ¿usted no le daría la camisa de su espalda? Si tiene hambre, ¿usted no le daría algo de comer? Si tiene sed, ¿no le daría algo de tomar? Eso es para mí, ese es el puente que nosotros hacemos cuando estamos viendo estar en eso de juzgar a alguien, porque aquí yo, como todos nosotros, a veces vemos a alguien, vemos algo y nosotros enseguida juzgamos o ponemos una opinión basada en lo que nosotros sabemos. Pero eso no es así. Yo hace mucho tiempo, cuando me pasó algo bien malo a mí, yo dije que no era mi deber de coger venganza en alguien o de juzgar por qué lo hicieron ni nada de eso. Yo reconocí que el único juez era Dios. El único juez era Dios. Y siempre me acuerdo eso, y siempre cuando pasa algo malo, yo siempre me pongo que yo no puedo hacer nada. El único juez es Dios. Dios es el que va a dar justicia en cualquier cosa que esté pasando. Entonces eso ha sido lo mío, pero aunque lo sepa y lo he hecho ya creo que hace más de 40 años que he hecho esto, pero de cualquier manera se presenta algo, uno siempre se pone ahí ese sombrero de juzgador y se pone a juzgar sin saber nada. Entonces, aquí lo que estoy compartiendo es que yo soy culpable de eso. Si usted se encuentra en esa situación que está juzgando a alguien, lo primero que tenemos que hacer es enseñar compasión. Enseñando compasión. Hablando con Gigi, ella dice que ¿cómo tú tratarías a una persona que está en un supermercado y puede ver cosas obvias que te dan las ganas de juzgar? Entonces, lo que sucede y lo que yo compartí también es que aquí, cuando sucede cosas así, eso para mí yo los he visto en realidad como pruebas de Dios que nosotros tenemos que pasar. Tenemos que pasar esas pruebas. Y es muy importante que para mí lo que me ha ayudado es tener el mismo sombrero con todo. Con todo, es el mismo sombrero, no es que me cambie el sombrero de aquí, es esta persona así, me pongo ese sombrero, es esta otra persona así, otro sombrero, no. El mismo sombrero para todos, se le trata a toda la gente con el mismo respeto, y eso es lo que me ha ayudado a mí a encontrar a Dios más también. Entonces, Aquí, lo que Gigi decía, en el supermercado se encuentra alguien que tal vez está necesitando algo. ¿Qué es lo que usted haría? ¿Qué es lo que usted haría? Gigi dice que había un momento que quería darle un dinerito, algo para ayudarle y no tenía nada, pero encontró ahí un dulce y eso fue lo que compartió con ella. Eso fue todo. Yo, por mi parte, yo cuando estaba estudiando, yo trabajaba como un taxista de Nueva York. Yo era un taxista en los 1980s. Y en eso, una vez, yo estaba tempranito y un señor que yo pensé que estaba llamando a un taxi, paré para el pasajero, o supuesto pasajero, y el señor entra al carro y se sienta en el asiento del frente, no en el del pasajero. Pero apenas el señor entra, yo huelo que el señor no huele bien, como que se había ensuciado él mismo. Algo bien grave. Y yo lo que he visto es como una prueba que yo tenía que pasar. Después lo que pasa es, dice, ¿a dónde quiere irse? El señor no estaba como consciente como para hablar, pero me dio un papel que era como una prescripción que tenía y tenía la dirección de él ahí. Le cogí desde la 178 y Broadway hasta all the way downtown en Alphabet City. Eso era como $40 lo que uno cobraba por una cosa así. Entonces le llevé al señor, como se veía, para mí él no me iba a pagar, yo estaba haciendo una obra de caridad. Pero desde el principio yo tenía la opción de decirle al señor, siéntese atrás o algo así, o señor, no lo puedo hacer, señor. Hubiera hecho tantas excusas, pero yo no hice ninguna excusa. Yo le vi lo que era como una prueba que yo tenía que pasar y al hacerlo, cuando le dejé al señor, apenas le dejé al señor, en la esquina, ni en la esquina estaba un señor esperando un taxi. Y el señor quería irse al aeropuerto de Newark. Al aeropuerto de Newark, esa era una carrera que era como $150 en esa época. Entonces, imagínense, me cogí 20 minutos para acá, ahora me voy por el highway, que es lo más rápido, y enseguidita $150 así nada más. Y después, ¿qué es lo que pasa? Ni le dejo al señor, le estoy dejando en la parte del aeropuerto de salidas, y ahí está otro señor, el señor, como el señor ese que estaba desorientado, se entra al carro, pero se sienta en la parte de atrás, me dice que se quiere ir a Nueva York. Entonces, yo no estoy supuesta a coger clientes de allá porque es contra la ley, pero el señor se entró y dije, ay, ya está adentro, vámonos. Le llevé al señor y eso llegó a ser una cosa que dentro de una hora hice $400. Eso fue lo que hice ahí porque cuenta más las propinas que me dieron, fue $400 que me hice así. Algo que podría haber cobrado $40 y le iba al señor ahí. Yo pasé la prueba y Dios me la pagó. Así nada más, solamente por haber enseñado compasión a la persona, por no juzgar a la persona, solamente por hacer un acto bueno, solamente como para decir similar a hacer como, ¿qué es lo que usted haría si ese señor que estaba sentado ahí era Dios? ¿Qué es lo que usted haría? No, tú no te pareces a Dios, no es así. No, para atrás, afuera, tú apestas. No, yo no hice eso. Yo le traté al Señor con toda la dignidad, le llevé allá y eso sucedió. Yo le dije a mi mami esto y mi mamá dijo, mi hijo, esa era una prueba que tenías que pasar. Y yo la pasé. Y por esa razón, Ahí estaban las bendiciones en abundancia cuando uno pasa las pruebas. Cosa más bella que, eso sí, otra vez aquí, el poder de la compasión en vez de juzgar. Cuando nosotros enseñamos compasión y tratamos de imitar a Dios, a Jesucristo, usted va a ver la recompensación, pero forma inmediata, tal como me sucedió a mí. It's a beautiful thing, Gigi. Thank you for such a beautiful
It is.
Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you. And it's all about opening up our heart, right? When we stop judging, we can allow love in, and so that we can give love out. And that's what makes a better world. We're all here to really contribute to this world in a positive way, right? And love is the answer to all,
Love is the
no matter
answer.
what. Love is in the air, right?
God is love. God is love.
That is love. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your words of wisdom. And until next time, I'm your host, Giovanna Tartarone.
And your co-host, Pablo Sanchez. It's a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.